Good morning, good afternoon. It will depend on the time that you are joining the course. My name is Tasia and I'm Associate Data Scientist. So today we are going to start officially intermediate to the other programming. So as we have covered the beginner level for the other programming in the data analysis, where we have seen about a lot of other videos, like introduction to statistics, where we was like interesting to understand what is data, what is statistics, because we are playing with the data. We need to understand what is data before doing coding. And then we have seen introduction to other programming, where we have seen the history of other programming, overview of other programming, and what you have to know if you say that I know other programming at the first time. So then we have seen other basics and data type and even data structure, where we was understanding how data also works. So, and we have seen deep about the data structure like vector, matrices, uh, list and data frame, and we have seen a little bit on the groups and functions. So today we are going to start how we can import the data in other programming, because this is the most important step you have to start with to the intermediate level. For us, we decide to say that this is going to be intermediate level. Of course, you understand the different data structure, and now we have seen at the end of the data structure what we call also the data frame. So, and I told you that the data frame, it's like the data set we normally knows. If I say that I'm going to import the data, so just understand that I'm no longer interested to create the data set from scratch in other programming, where we have seen it when we are trying to create the data frame. And then now we decide to say that instead of creating the data or the data frame from the scratch in other programming, let's put the big data frame, the big data set that comes from the outside with the multiple source of the data. So that's what I'm trying to do, and I hope that you're going to enjoy the session. And if you don't understand how to import the data, it is time to ask me as much as you can, because at the end of the day, you are going to suffer like if you don't understand those kind of things. So without taking much time, so we are dealing with the data. So here it's like a reading or importing the data, and the data set can be in any format, like Excel, CSV, SPSS, Stata, whatever. Those are the common data we use as a statistician, as data analyst. So that's why I put on RIFO, but there is a lot, and I will show you how you can import the data from the server. So if I say server, like I say the data from online without having it in a local machine. Like when we want to read the data from the cargo, we are going to see how we can read the data from the cargo, or anywhere there is another sources we used to have, like Yahoo Finance, for those who knows financial analysis. There is a lot of open sources that we use to have the data, but mostly we will use the cargo for the sake of having it in common, because the cargo is most a popular website that you can have free access to the dummy data. So if I say dummy data, it is not real data. It is created for the purpose of helping people to learn the different things in the context they want. So if you need the data in finance, so of course you don't have access on financial data which is real, you have to go there to take that dummy data. And even you can use ChatGPT to create the dummy data, but that dummy data, they are acting like real in a sense of telling you how the real things should be look like. And then another thing that we have to focus on, it's like also to see how you can set working directory not only also working directory, but also how you can see the working directory you have set it. So that is one of the things that we are going to focus on. So if I say, for example, I want to read the Excel data, so there is a library, as I told you, in other programming, we normally, what we are going to do, if you don't know the package that can give you the authority to do those kind of things, you are going to suffer. Otherwise, the important way of knowing the use of package. So of course, the package, as we have seen in other programming, for the starting, we have seen that there is open source. So if it is open source, anyone has the right to develop their package. The package is going to be specific on something. Let's say, for example, if I want to do the regression analysis, there is a package that is in charge of helping me to perform the regression analysis, as the way we used to have the formula in a class. Because if we normally knows that we are going to do the multiple regression analysis, there is a set of formulas we have to follow so that we can achieve something related to that. At that time, it was like a manual calculation. But also here in other programming, if you need to do the specific thing, you need to know, to be aware of the packages that is going to give you the right to do that kind of thing. So here also, we have Excel data. So the library called readxl, this is the library that is going to help us to give authority to import the data in terms of the CSV. So, and after knowing the packages, what is remaining, just it's like to define the object, to define the variable. Why we define object, as we have seen, maybe you're going to import the data which is having the long name, and you are not going to memorize those long names. So otherwise, you have to create the object that is going to help you to define, to assign that data set. When you will need to use that data set or data frame, you will call that object that we are talking. So after defining the object, you have to type read underscore, because I'm going to read the Excel file. I will type read underscore Excel, and then I go where the data is located. I copy working directory. That's what we call working directory. Working directory, it's a folder where my data set is located. And after copy the working directory, you put the left slash, and after having the left slash, we are going to add the name of the data set and dot extension of dataset. If I say the extension, each it's like unique identifier. You know, each and every person, they have the ID, identification number, that is going to help us to differentiate those two people. Sometimes people are having the same names, but having the different ID. I think you understand the unique identifier. So for those who play with a lot of the softwares or a lot of the apps in their daily life, let's say, for example, for us to know that this is a Word document, they has the nickname or the unique identifier, like a dot. Those are the extensions that I'm talking. For also for the Excel to have the difference between Excel and Word document, one is .xls, another it is .dot. If we look at this SPSS, we will have .sub. Those are also the unique identifiers. If I say the extension is that in a simple way. So after having it, you of course you are now lucky. What is remaining is just learn, and after learning you have to say, like after learning you have to print the output as the way we have seen. But also when it is a CSV is like the Excel of, it is comma separated value. Most of the time the data we get from the cargo, it is also in comma separated value. That's what we call the CSV. It is in the form of Excel, but when you look at the Excel extension, it is not fully it is Excel, but Excel for online. and sometimes the .xls, it is the Microsoft Excel version. For those who having the Excel in a local machine, so we can also, by default, we used to save Excel as a .xls, but you can save it as CSV as well. So, but CSV, it is come as separated value. And then the SPSS, those who knows statistical software for the social science, most of the time SPSS, it is a software used by people who are in the field of social science. Or if I say social science, just understand those who are like in health, in public health, those who are in the field of things that are related to health, but also the project management. Most of the time they are traditional way, the traditional one, they used to use SPSS, but now they are lucky that we are using Stata, using Excel, and even some programming language are those who knows it. But especially for social science, those are the people who use SPSS. So this data also, it is mostly for those are, I didn't say the libraries or the packages. I assume that you see the packages for the CSV, it is read R, and also for the Stata and SPSS, the packages that is going to give us the authority to import those things are also Haven. Not only Haven, there is also another things you will see a lot, but mostly what I prefer to show you, it is Haven to give us also the authority to do this. So, and the data, as I said, it is mostly common on econometric analysis. Those who are econometrician, they used to use the data, but also pure statistician, they used to use this data. It is good for the data manipulation or data cleaning for the big data set, and it has capabilities when you compare to SPSS. What I can say on the software which is not programming, this data, it can be the most for doing analysis. So before we use the programming for the data analysis, for data science, though Stata was the most popular one. So, and it has also the extension of .dta. So what you do to import it, step it is the same. You type the read underscore data and then put working directory, put the left slash, and then put the name and then put dot, something like that. So there is a lot of the data frame we can also see, but I choose this for, and the way we import it, what you have to know, it is just to know the extension, to know the types of the file that you are interested to use. And also there is another thing called JSON file. So there is a lot of files that you will see, and even there is a data from the database, so you have to know how you can also import those data from the database. So, and if you know the data source where the data is come from, you will also obligated to know like the packages that you can use once you are trying to look for that kind of thing. So let's take a time to go to the practical side to see how we can also play with the data, how we can also import the data when we are trying to do those kind of things. So this is also the practical part where we are going to import it, right? So as I said, when we are going to import the data, so we need to check for the working directory. So if I say the working directory, it is a current folder that I'm working with. Or if I say if I save the data by default, where if I save the script by default, where am I going to see my result? That's what we do if we are trying to look for the check for the working directory. We are checking the current working directory, but the code we are going to use, it is simple. We type get wd. So if we type get wd and then we run, you see that on the on driver, one driver, on desktop, on the folder called data plus R, and also on another folder called R script. So if I save this by default, I'm going to find it on this folder. So that's what we do when we are trying to get get working directory. Get working directory. That's what it means. So, and here maybe you have seen that you are no longer interested to work on this current working directory. You have to set your own working directory. So what are we going to do? So to set our own working directory, we say set wd, and then we copy the path, and also we put the folder. So what we do normally, we have to come here. Let's say, for example, I want to operate on this folder. Let's create another folder. I have to click on new, and then I create another folder. So importing the data, and then I say import data. I name my folder called import data. So after naming my folder called import the data, I click on it so that I can open it. So because I need to see the location of my folder, just a path, as I said. So I click here, I put the cursor here, and then click. You see that there is a link that is generated. So what I do, I have to do Control C to copy it. I have to do the Control C to copy it again. So then I come back to the my R. So I have to read this one, of course, and then I paste that folder. So you see, before I delete it, I want you to see this. So you see where the slash is like looking. I have left this slash now. So if I copy the code of path of my folder, I'm not going to see the path that is the slash that is in the left side. It is going to be in the right. So what I do, I can add double. I can have it as double so that the error, it can recognize it. Those who program the error, they said instead of using one, if you want to use one slash, you are not going to use it like right slash in this way. So otherwise we have to use it like this one. But if you prefer to use like this one, you have to have it as a 2, something like that. So but for me, I prefer to change the direction of it like this one. So for you, you have to change the direction if you paste it. At the same time, when we are going to import the data, we will see that we have to have it in different way like this one. So to change it in this way. So again, once I learn, automatically I'm going to see that there is no problem in my code. And once I get to check working directory, get wd again. So if I do get wd again, you see now I'm working with the importing data because I already changed it. So explanation, other will look for the file in working directory, and it is important to know where your file is stored. So that is what I was also, if I set working directory, something like that, and yet in my folder that I'm working with, there is a lot of file that is there. So there is the possibility of accessing that data set. So there is a possibility of accessing that data set. So but let's keep doing this, and then here we are trying to import the local data set. If I say the local data set, that is the data set that we are having on our computer. So here also it is a CSV file. We are base R method. Okay, so as I said, what we need to do if we are importing the data set, of course we need to look for the CSV file. So for the CSV file, by do not using the package, or by without using the package. So there is a way also we can use without reading, without using the package. So what can we do? It is just to define the object, and then we put equal read.csv, and then we put the name of the data set, and then we say come ahead, it's got true, separate equal something, and then something like that. So I'm going to see if I have the data set which is having the CSV format. So let's come back to the online to download the data set that's having the extension of CSV. As I told you, we are going to use cargo. So cargo data set, we type cargo data set. So of course you have to have the CSV, you have to have the account on there, and each and everyone assume that they know how to create account there. What you have, it's right to click on find the data set here, and if you don't have account on cargo, of course there is a possibility where you can go. So for me, I have the data set, but if I click like this is also the data set that I can have, and then that is a possibility where you can go and create the data, and you upload your own data. So I have to sign up so that I can show you those who don't have the account on there, the way they are going to create the account, so that they will really need they will also use it in their daily life. So if you don't have account, as the first time there is option of signing is those who have already account on cargo, but also there is the register for those who are going to use it as a first time. So because we will need to use we will also play with this website. As I told you, cargo, it's where you can find the free dataset you can use for any field that you want. So you see there is also the options that having the all dataset, computer science, education, classification, computer version, NLP, natural language processing, that is what we call NLP, data visualization, so pre-training model. Those are also categories that we normally have in dataset that we can use. And there is also the possibility that where you can create your own dataset, maybe for the specific purpose, because this is an open source. Each and every person, they have authority their own dataset. YouTube, there's something that it was interesting to do, but also go to the online, and then they share to the many millions of people, because cargo, it is mostly used by many millions of people. So that is a possibility of going there to create your new dataset and share to each and everyone. So that is also the way the dataset we have here was created, because each and everyone has capability, has the contribution to determine the numbers of the dataset that is going to be public. So that is a good platform for getting the data for each and every field you want. So here it is a home, like client dashboard. See once you have the data. So the good thing for the cargo also, there is we have the competition. They used to have the different prices. People they have to do the task, and then they compete. The winners, they receive a lot of money, and big ones. And then also the models, the benchmark, game arena, code, discussion, learn more, something like that. So for us, we are not interested to run the cargo, but also we are interested to run how we can register so that we can get the dataset. So if you are new, you click on the register. They will ask you to make a register by using register with Google. You see, I'm going to register with Google. So, and I'm going to use another account. Let's say, for example, I'm going to use Dataverse Analytics. So I type the email. So Dataverse something. So because I'm not I don't remember the name, so I don't remember the name, but you have to follow this procedure so that you you can see. But for me, let me do sign in so that we can download the dataset that is in a extension of CS, because all of the dataset we use to download here, it is in the form of CSV. So it is in form of CSV by default. So I have to do sign in, and then I use this email because I was using the email which is not registered to the the cargo dataset. So after doing it, so I have to sign in with email. Sorry, so I have to type my email. So then I put the password. Sure. Okay. I already signed in. So if I have the data set, this is also the data or the data set. I can also, we have all more than 653,000 data sets. So let me choose the chocolate by default. If I click on chocolate cells, so I am going to see the information about the dataset, what is about. This is interactive dashboard provide comprehensive overview of global chocolate sales from 2022 to 2025. You see, those are also the informations those who created the data set they share with us. So it is time now to download the data set. If we need to download the data set, we have to come here on chocolate cells. So then I click on download, and if I click on download, of course the data is coming as chocolate, and then I click on this. But our intention, it's like how we can import the data. So I have also to come here, and then I do click on the data set, and then I do copy as path. So once I do copy as path, of course I have to come in other programming to say that this is going to be something like that. I read these kind of things, and then I paste it here. So once I paste it here, you see that those stuffs are coming. So I have to change the direction of this, as we have seen. So I have to change the directions of this, so something like that. Okay, so after knowing how we can change it, what we have is just to run. You see, now I have already learned. And then to see, we header, this is a code that is going to help us to see the first 5 observation or first 6 of observation, as we have seen on the data frame, on how we can put the data. So something like that to see, that is how my data is also look like. And now you see that the data, I'm accessing my data in other programming. So there is also another way we can, I'm not going to look for each and everything like here, like Excel, something like that. So all of the things are the same. What you have to do is just like to know the direction, to know the path of your data set, so that you can reference it in other programming, but also knowing that once you copy the path of your file, of your data set, of your data frame, the way you can name it, you have to change it like looking in this way. So, and also I'm going to show you how you can import it directly without also download it from the way we do by using also the link. So this is the good link we can use. This is also the way we can import the data from GitHub. You see, GitHub, it's like the professional platform for those who are dealing with data. So for me, I have also GitHub, but I will show you how we can import the data of GitHub once we have a session on GitHub, because I'm not going to teach you the way we can accessing the data from the GitHub. It will help you knowing how to use it. So let's skip it, and also we export the data set like manually the way I can the way I have also did it. So the way we can access the data from online, so what we have to do, it is come to the cargo, and then what we have to look for, it's to look for the URA. So the URA, so where we can find the URA, it is also, you have to come here so to see where we can also access the URA. So the URA, it is also here. So let me see if we can find it here. So okay, so the data card, so if I don't see it, I can come here and then I copy this one. So I copy this one, and then I come here on other programming, so where I have URA, you see. Of course, there is a library called read. I have to call the library called read the X. So because it is a CSV, so I have to read this ring, so that this ring, you see this ring, and then I paste what I call here, so I don't have to change anything, what I have just to run. So once I run, you see that online dataset, you see I'm reading online dataset, you see, and then if I do head, you see that this is the dataset that I'm seeing. So that's the way we have to read the dataset just online. So, and here it is assignment you have to do so that you can see if you master the dataset. Of course, the importing the data frame, importing or installing the packages. So if you see that the packages like read X I have told you, and then if you see that you don't have it, so there is a possibility, or there is a way we can import the data. There is a way we can install the packages. As I told you, you have to say install.packages, and then install.packages, and then you put the names for the packages that you don't have. Read X, read, for example, read R something. If I'm interested to install read R, I will also run, and then the things is going to be visible. So if I run, so you see I already have it, so that's why read R, I already have it, that's why they are asking me to have it again. So but let me try this one. So what you have to do, it's just like to type install.packages, and then you run the code, and the code is going to give you, like, you see I'm trying to install it again. So those, if this kind of things is not going to be stopped, so it means that either it is still installing your packages, and you will receive the message like this. So successfully unpackaged, something like that. It means that your package has already installed in other programming. And here you can come here on package side, and you see a lot of packages that we are having here. So those are also the things we need to normally look for. And also I think you have seen the way we can import the data in the different format. What you have to see, or what you have to know, it's like based on the data type. Of course, there is a package that is specific on those kind of things. The mode of importing the data set, it is what is going to determine the way you are going to do it. So thank you so much. Thank you once again to see those kind of things. It was really interesting. I think you learned a lot on importing the data set. So now we are going also to focus on the data manipulation, how we can manipulate the data in other programming. So let's meet to the next session where we are going to focus much on data manipulation.